What does it actually cost to own the world's largest purpose-built private jet? Not the sticker price, every single dollar. Every year, we calculated it all. Let's break it down. A new Bombardier Global 7500 lists at approximately $75 to $81 million. Most leave the factory closer to $81 million after custom interiors, connectivity upgrades, and options. But here's what nobody tells you. The purchase price is almost the easy part. Between fixed and variable expenses, plan to spend between $3 and $4.5 million every single year just to keep it flying. Let's start with the fixed costs. Fixed costs breakdown. Fixed costs are the expenses you pay every single year. Whether you fly 10 hours or 500, the engines are off, the aircraft is parked, and the invoices keep coming. For the Global 7500, these costs are anything but small. Crew salaries. This aircraft demands 2 full-time professional pilots, and you are not hiring entry-level aviators. A captain qualified on the Global 7500 commands a salary of approximately $200,000 to $250,000 annually, and that's base pay before benefits, bonuses, and per diems. Your first officer earns roughly $125,000 to $150,000 per year. But here's what most people don't account for. At the intercontinental ranges this aircraft routinely flies, you almost always need a flight attendant. Expect to pay another $60,000 to $70,000 annually for cabin crew. Total crew salary bill, approximately $410,000 to $470,000 per year before a single engine start. And bonus structures are the norm in corporate aviation, so the real number often lands higher. Crew training. Every year, regardless of flight hours, your pilots must complete recurrent type rating training in a Level D full-motion simulator. For a Global 7500 crew, that's approximately $50,000 to $100,000 annually in simulator time, certification renewals, and required safety courses. This isn't optional. Miss a training cycle and your pilots are legally grounded. Most flight departments budget closer to the upper end to ensure scheduling flexibility and access to top-tier training facilities. Insurance. Insuring an $81 million ultra-long-range business jet is a serious financial commitment. Comprehensive hull and liability coverage for the Global 7500 runs approximately $150,000 to $300,000 annually. Your premium depends on 3 main factors: the experience level of your crew, your annual utilization, and your operator's claims history. Corporate flight departments with seasoned crews and clean records typically land toward the lower end. Owner pilots with limited type experience pay significantly more, sometimes approaching the top of that range before their first full year is complete. Hangar. At 111 feet in length and over 115,000 pounds at max ramp weight, the Global 7500 is not a jet you leave on the ramp overnight. You need a dedicated hangar, and hangar space at major airports is both scarce and expensive. At premium FBO facilities near cities like New York, Los Angeles, or London, monthly hangar fees range from $3,000 to $8,000, which translates to $36,000 to nearly $100,000 per year. Some owners negotiate long-term lease agreements to lock in better rates. Others join hangar partnerships to share costs. Either way, budget approximately $75,000 to $190,000 annually, depending entirely on where this aircraft is based. Maintenance programs. This is where smart owners stop guessing and start planning. Most Global 7500 operators enroll in Bombardier's Smart Parts Plus airframe program and GE's On-Point Engine program. And for good reason. These manufacturer-backed programs cover scheduled inspections, major component overhauls, and engine maintenance events, replacing unpredictable 6-figure surprise bills with predictable monthly fees. Together, expect to pay approximately $350,000 to $500,000 annually. Skipping these programs is technically an option. Practically, it's a gamble. A single unscheduled engine event on the GE Passport can easily exceed the entire annual cost of an engine program. No serious operator rolls those dice. Aircraft management. The vast majority of Global 7500 owners use a professional aircraft management company to oversee day-to-day operations, pilot scheduling, regulatory compliance, maintenance coordination, aircraft positioning, and everything in between. These companies charge approximately $80,000 to $150,000 per year. Some owners try to self-manage and save this cost. Most discover quickly that managing a jet at this level is effectively a full-time job, and their time is worth far more elsewhere. Total fixed costs: annual, crew salaries and training, insurance, hangar, maintenance programs, management. Add it all together and you're looking at approximately $1.1 to $1.6 million per year in fixed costs before you've flown a single mile. That number is locked in the moment you take delivery, and those are just the costs before you touch the throttles. Wait until you see what every single flight hour adds on top. Variable costs. Breakdown. Variable costs are directly tied to how much you fly, but at the Global 7500's fuel burn rate, they escalate quickly. Fuel? The Global 7500 is powered by two General Electric GE Passport engines, each delivering over 18,000 pounds of thrust, the muscle behind a Mach 0.925 cruise speed, and a 7,700 nautical mile range. That performance comes at a price. At typical cruise settings, the aircraft burns approximately 500 to 530 gallons of jet fuel per hour, with Jet A currently priced at approximately $6 to $7 per gallon across major US and European FBOs. You're spending between $3,000 and $3,700 every 60 minutes just on fuel. At 400 annual flight hours, a reasonable estimate for an active corporate operator, that's approximately $1.2 to $1.5 million per year in fuel alone. Jet fuel prices are volatile. In years when energy markets spike, this number can climb significantly. Most operators monitor fuel costs closely and use hedging or fuel card programs to manage exposure. Maintenance reserves. Even with full enrollment in manufacturer programs, additional maintenance reserves are essential. Budget approximately $1,500 to $1,700 per flight hour for unscheduled repairs, component replacements, consumables, and the maintenance events your programs don't fully absorb. At 400 annual hours, that's $600,000 to $680,000 per year, sitting in reserve. Think of this as your financial buffer, the difference between a manageable maintenance event and an operational crisis. Experienced operators treat this reserve as non-negotiable. Landing and handling fees. Every airport charges landing fees based on aircraft weight, and at over 115,000 pounds maximum ramp weight, the Global 7500 is near the top of the scale. At major international airports, Heathrow, JFK, Zurich, Dubai, landing fees can run from $500 to several $1,000s per arrival. FBO handling fees for fueling, ramp services, and ground support add another $200 to $800 per stop. At an operating cadence of approximately 200 landings per year, plan for approximately $150,000 to $250,000 annually in landing and handling costs. International operations often push this figure higher. Catering and in-flight supplies. This is a Global 7500. Your passengers, like whether they're board members, family, or heads of state, have expectations that match the aircraft. Premium in-flight catering, fine wines, custom menus, and cabin supplies typically run between $1,000 and $5,000 per flight, depending on route length and passenger count. For an owner averaging 150 flights per year, annual catering expenditure lands at approximately $150,000 to $300,000. Owners who use dedicated catering companies for long international routes regularly spend at the upper end of this range. Total variable costs. Annual. At 400 flight hours per year, total variable costs run approximately $2 to $2.5 million. Stack that on top of your fixed cost base, and the all-in annual operating cost for a Bombardier Global 7500 lands at approximately $3 to $4 million every year. And that figure doesn't include depreciation, which on an $81 million aircraft adds another $3 to $4 million in the first year alone. All in, the Bombardier Global 7500 costs approximately $3 to $4 million annually to own and operate. On top of that, $81 million purchase price. Is it worth it? Comment below. For a cost breakdown of the Gulfstream G700, click here. Thanks for watching.